thank you for coming along this morning. Just a few housekeeping points. There's no planned fire alarms today, so if it does go off, please make your way out to in front of the walled gardens outside. There is an alarm planned at 11, but we should be out by then. Toilets are along this corridor to the right, at the end. Hopefully whoever you can find them. This is our second seminar of the year. This is to do with a cyber attack. It's in conjunction with Barclays Bank. So I'd like to welcome you all here to a fantastic venue, Ashdown Park Hotel. This is in conjunction with Barclays. So we have Lewis, who's Barclays' first ever digital eagle. He's also a YouTube entrepreneur and also an escapologist as well. So you might want to ask him some questions about that after the event. Our headline sponsor today is WatchGuard, who produce secure UTM firewalls. It's our firewall of choice for our customers. We'd like to thank them for sponsoring the event today, and also thanks to Ashdown Park Hotel for allowing us to host this event here. And that's it. So I'd like to introduce Lewis Hunt. As I said, he's Barclays Digital Legal, and he's going to be going through how a criminal would look at profiling someone in order to do a cyber attack. I'd like to hand you over. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hello everyone. So if everyone's wondering what an escapologist is, so it means you're very good at escaping a locked room. So outside of Barclays, I own an escape room where you and a group of friends locked in a room, you have to try and escape within an hour. So if anyone wants to chat after that, you're more than welcome to. But I always find that's an interesting topic. I saw a lot of raised eyebrows, like what the hell is one of them? So yeah, I'm Lewis Hunt, I'm a digital eagle. So quick show of hands, who's heard of digital eagles? Hey. So you get some of those adverts that come on around Barclays Digital Eagles, but basically they started off as a colleague initiative 3 years ago. So how can we help Barclays staff learn all the different devices you as potential customers might bring in and ask to have the apps installed on your phone? So imagine the challenge cashiers had who had only ever known about transactions and all that sort of stuff. Suddenly we're asking them to say, you need to help a customer install Barclays mobile banking on an Android, a BlackBerry, an iPhone, a LG, a Nokia, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And that was the first challenge. That was the first part of the job, was to go around and help Barclays staff. And eventually it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and we got around all the staff and we wanted to keep a job. So we was like, okay, well, how do we help customers? So we then did tea and teach sessions. So Barclays branches that could open out of hours remained open, and there's now sessions you can find on the website where older, more vulnerable customers can come in, including non-Barclays customers, can come in and learn how to use their devices free of charge with trained staff within our branches. Then we looked at how do we help younger people. So we have a thing called Code Playground, where kids between the ages of 7 and 17 can learn how to code. Something I find mental is that 12-year-olds, it's now a part of their curriculum to learn how to write code, so computer language, but it's not for 13-year-olds. So what happens when they come to employment age? You've got an immediate skills gap because of coding. So bizarrely, you've now got Barclays cashiers helping kids with their homework. Weirdest thing. And then we move on to the third arm, which brings me with you here today, which is how do we help businesses? So part of my job is to help businesses with social media, with website search engine optimization performance. My expertise is within YouTube. My girlfriend and I, we run a YouTube management company where we help YouTubers with their content, what they need to produce for the following months. So content prediction using big data, if you like. So that's how it started. But it makes sense, as a bank, we have an invested interest in all customers, if you like, around cybercrime. Because ultimately, even if you bank with another bank and you fall victim to cybercrime, probably someone that banks with Barclays, because we're responsible for 27% of the market, is going to be affected somewhere down the line. So this, what I'm going to show you through today, is like a holistic view of actually how criminals do what they do, and for you to take away some actions to start thinking about how you can protect yourself and lower the risk of yourselves falling victim to a cybercrime. So I work really closely with the National Cyber Security Centre. They are the government's first point of call for all cybercrime attacks and those sorts of bits and pieces that happen within the UK. Within the NCSC is the CISP, which stands for the Cyber Information Sharing Partnership, If you've never heard of the CISP, I wouldn't be surprised. They don't do a terrible job advertising themselves, but it's probably one of the best free services you can get right now from the government regarding cybercrime. What it is, you become a member. There's a short thing you have to fill out. You have to be sponsored by someone who's already a member. If you're interested in joining, please send me an email and I'll talk you through that sponsorship. The CISP will help protect you from things that your antivirus is unlikely to protect you from. So the human element. I mean, nothing guarantees 100% security, but there's certain things you can do to keep yourself safe. A really great example is earlier on in the year, lots of sole traders were getting emails from HMRC saying fill out your tax return, but it was a fake email. Now those sole traders that were members of the CISP, they got an email from the CISP with a detailed list of all the known email addresses it would come through, screenshots of what the email looked like, and mitigation actions. So it gave them instructions, copy and paste the list of emails above into your filter, and you won't get hit by, you're going to lower the risk of getting a chance to receive that email. Really simple instructions. But they do it for all sorts of different things, so really worthwhile, and it's free. All like a freebie. So, quick show of hands, who's heard of phishing? Hey. Who's heard of spear phishing? Not so yay. So phishing are those generic emails that are sent out en masse that try and convince you to do something. Often it's, I'm a prince stuck in a civil war, I have 100 million, send me 10,000 and I'll give you 10 billion. And you know, it's rubbish. Or it might be something to do with Amazon. Here's your Amazon receipt. Was this you? You haven't bought anything on Amazon, maybe you don't shop on Amazon, maybe whatever. Just a rubbish sort of jargon email. The problem is so many people fall for it. 27% of people open those phishing emails, just open them. That's exposing yourself to an unnecessary risk. Then you have spear phishing. So what we're seeing is that lots of these emails are transforming from being these generic stuff to being quite accurate. So often emails that relate to us in some way, shape or form, so perhaps a family member, perhaps from a website I have just made a purchase from, or perhaps even from someone within my company. So maybe someone that works for me or my boss or something like that, or maybe a client or a customer, supplier, something like that, where those emails come from. Criminals now have very easy tools, which I'm going to show you, to actually change their email address to make it look like somebody else's. Then malicious software. So often these emails are either trying to rip you off in some way, shape or form, or trying to install some kind of malicious software. Now malicious software can do all sorts of things. That can either watch you through the little webcam on the top without turning the light on, so you don't even know it's watching you and snap pictures. It can monitor your keyboard strokes, it can look at your history, it can do all sorts of different things. Or if you look at TalkTalk, it can make you part of a much larger attack. So we've got these attacks called DDoS attacks, which you start hearing more and more about in the news because they are so big. But what they are, so I like looking at a TalkTalk example. A 15-year-old boy, for whatever reason, wanted to target TalkTalk. I like to think his internet connection on his Xbox wasn't very good, and for that reason he hit TalkTalk. But basically, he went onto Google, put in Google, how can I take out a big company? And the third thing that comes up is the step-by-step instructions of what he did. He created a virus, put that virus out across the internet, attached it on some emails, onto some websites, and let it out and go across the web. It took a week for 10,000 people to download that little line of code. And then what that enabled him to do, in the broadest sense, was when he typed on his keyboard, 10,000 keyboards typed. When he moved his mouse, 10,000 mice moved. And he just pointed them all at TalkTalk. Now think about your computer. When you open too many windows, too many programs, it runs slower and slower and slower, and you have to close some of them down. Imagine that times 10,000. Basic security protocol stops working, basic processes stop working, so the system's unable to say you've entered the password incorrectly too many times, you're locked out, it's unable to contact the administrators, it's unable to do anything, you just got to sit there and ride it out. I know of a florist near where I live that used to buy DDoS attacks. You can buy them on the dark web for $150. Used to buy DDoS attacks and target other florists on the build up to Valentine's Day so people couldn't buy through their website. So sometimes it isn't just criminals looking for financial gain. It can be almost like guerrilla marketing tactics, if you like. It can be an unhappy customer, someone that hasn't had a complaint handled right. Or it can just be a young person that's testing out the new skill and you happen to be in the eye line of their bedroom window. But the key part of cybersecurity is about resilience. Because it's not the if, it's the when it happens. So how resilient can you be? How quickly can you get back up on your feet? How many attacks can you take and make sure that none of them actually impact you? You have invoice fraud. So when these emails are successful, They're trying to get you to change sort code and account numbers. They're trying to get you to redirect money into a different place, typically into their account. And then finally, ransomware. So I've put ransomware in there for this presentation because it's really prolific in this area. And what it is criminals holding you to ransom. It is a serious crime. If you fall victim to ransomware, the first person you call is the police. What a lot of people don't seem to understand is that because it's a computer, it doesn't quite feel like you're being held to ransom. Like you haven't been kidnapped, you haven't got a gun held to your head, but there is a real financial loss at the end of it, and there is a risk to human life because you have things knock-on effects such as depression, people losing their jobs, all sorts of different things. There is a real impact to ransomware. So the first thing they do is call the police. But basically what they do, they might target a new entrant into the business. So someone that perhaps hasn't had any training yet, and they'll send them an email from the boss going, really impressed with what you're doing so far. I want you to try out a bit of volunteering or a new pilot. Have a look at the attachment and let me know what you think. Or click on this link and have a look at the website and let me know what you think afterwards. Or they'll go into the company car park and they'll put USB sticks down in the company car park that might say March work on it. And you pick it up, or work night out photos, that's more likely. Everyone's going to pick that one up. You put that one up and you'll plug it in, and you literally have about half a second before it's installed itself. And if you have a network, not only will it lock your computer, but it will jump onto everybody else's computer. If you have cloud storage like Dropbox and you don't have a password to log in, it will transfer itself onto your Dropbox and log things on your Dropbox. So a lot of people that have their backups in the cloud aren't aware that, yeah, you've got a backup. Your backup actually has a vulnerability. So I want to show you, wrong way. I want you to get into the hacker mindset. So I'm going to show you real ways that criminals actually go about hacking people. So it starts off with a thing called social engineering. So social engineering is a non-technical method of intrusion hackers use that relies heavily on human interaction, often involves tricking people into breaking normal security procedures. Done this presentation a few times. So that's the key part, non-technical. It's not hard. They're using things that we all have. It's all within our gift. If you can use Word or Excel or anything like that, but in a basic sense, you can do the same things that these criminals are doing. It's not difficult. They're going onto Google, they may be checking out Facebook, maybe 192.com, which is directory inquiries for the internet, Wikipedia, if you're like a well-known individual, blogs, newspaper articles, things like that. Justine Roberts, she's the CEO of Mumsnet. She got a SWAT attack done on her because she wrote an article about dad's access rights at weekends, and a pro-dad group didn't like it. So what they did was hacked her home phone at 3:30 in the morning, called the police from her home phone and told the police she was being held hostage by armed robbers. So they sent around a SWAT team, flashbangs, to smash the front door in and arrest the family at 3:30 in the morning. So some of those things are, you just have to be aware of what those sort of things are. So we do have a volunteer. Hey. Right. Nothing to fear, nothing to fear. So welcome Martin. Now I'm going to leave the presentation and actually go to the internet. So whenever you're searching for yourself, there's a couple of little search tips. Now at the back of the room, if you can't see this, I've put Martin Bannister in speech marks. Now what that ensures is Martin and Bannister, those two names are together in a paragraph. So rather than Martin Smith had a great day out with Rachel Bannister, it makes sure, I remember your wife's in there, isn't she? No one called Rachel, no one called Rachel. Well, it's to make sure Martin and Bannister are found together in a paragraph. So if you're searching for yourself, make sure you do that. And then next to that, you just put a word that relates to you. So either the name of your town, name of your business, those sorts of things. Now that really saves a criminal a lot of time because the search engine that Google provides, the searches it provides, you've whittled everything out. You've now just got information around Martin Bannister I'm interested in. So the job of the criminal is just start opening pages and getting clues and information. So as I've gone through, we've got this first one, which is your LinkedIn page. Gives a bit of history. I've then got a town location. I know it's you. We've got Sackville School. We've got a few other career history. When you finished that school, so I could start working back, potential birth years, those sorts of things. But not a great deal. Some people's LinkedIn profiles are a lot more in depth, but this is more than enough to go on to start off with. Then we have Twitter. Then we have Twitter. Again, I'm not going to scroll all the way down just in case, but there's enough on here just to start understanding perhaps more of his relationship with his business, how often he's there, what his recent activity, whereabouts, what sort of things he's up to. And then Facebook. Now, frustratingly, Facebook is very easy to start tracking family, so you can just type in surnames if you don't have your friends locked down, and you can start finding family members. So what's frustrating at this point is you might feel like you are safe. But there could be a weak link within your family. It could be your partner, it could be someone that lives at your property, something like that. That could be the weak link. It could be them that might fall victim to a simple phishing scam, and they give away the information that fraudster needs to get to you. Then we have Company's House. Oh, Company's House. So Company's House, however much I like Company's House, they do provide a bit too much information on the public domain. It's very, very easy to look through the PDF documents. They do a great job of blanking out your date of birth on the website, but a terrible job blanking out within the PDF. So all a criminal has to do is scroll down until they find an update for Martin and open it. And then in there we've got date of birth, 12/11/1969. That lines up with the 1986 when he finished Sackville School, so you would finish that around 16, 17 years old, lands perfectly, and an address. So then I want to start checking that address. Okay, well that's the address. So I'm going to search for Martin Bannister, East Grinstead. Yeah, I can confirm he's still in that property because that's the latest electoral roll. We've got director info. We've got other occupants that line up with the Facebook. Perfect, I've got the right Martin. Easy peasy. Then check Sackville School. Now, when it comes to searching for somebody's mother's maiden name, birth records and family tree records are the easiest place for people to go and do that stuff. So you have Ancestry. So Ancestry here, if I wanted to start searching for someone's history, you would put in their name in Ancestry and a nearby town, and it would come up with their birth record and the mother's maiden name associated with it. Now in Martin's circumstances, you're adopted, correct? So it makes it difficult because there will never be a way to track Martin's mother's maiden name. So in a certain sense, you're more, because of that, you're safer because you can't get that sort of security information from that way. But from anybody else, it's very, very easy for someone to get mother's maiden name. So potentially, had Martin not been the volunteer today, we would be at date of birth, mother's maiden name, and postcode. 3 major security questions. But I'm not happy with that. I actually want to try and get that information. So we'll look at how I would extract that information a bit later on. So I carried on having a look. Now we've got Rocket Reach. Again, I've got a personal problem with Rocket Reach because Rocket Reach is a very simple service that allows you to look at the email address that was used to set up the LinkedIn profile. So often that's someone's personal email address. But it's unlikely someone uses the business email to set up LinkedIn because that's like your CV, you use it outside of your business. But what we've done here, obviously it's your business, so it's more likely you're going to use Kogo as your email. We've got Martin at kogo.co.uk. I've now got the workable email for Martin. I then put that into a website here called Have I Been Pwned? So whilst we're here, I will take some volunteers if you want. But what this service allows you to do is it's a database of 3,750,000,000 compromised email addresses. And we've got a few faces in the room that I know will probably be like, it's more than likely my email's probably on there. But we have a search and it will tell you what hacks your information was lost in. Now a lot of people come to me like, oh, how do I get all this spam on my email? Like, why do I get so much spam on my email? It'd just be this stuff, where your email account is sitting somewhere on the dark web ready for someone to buy. Because if I was looking for other information of mine, I would go to the dark web, and where I'll be able to find the passwords, usernames, this, that, and the other. So for example, Adobe, lost passwords, hints, passwords, username, email addresses, anti-public combo list, that's some sort of weird thing. Email addresses, passwords, LinkedIn. I mean, LinkedIn, they lost 164 million people's passwords back in 2012, but only told everyone about it when it came up for sale last year, 4 years later. MySpace, email addresses, passwords, usernames. I mean, my old email, I think got lost in a lot of things. So Adobe, River City Media Spam, they've got my email address, IP, names, physical addresses. Date of birth, email, gender, IP addresses, names, physical addresses, Tumblr, all sorts of different things. Anyone want to try out their email whilst we're here? Ashley Madison is on here. Right, put your hand down.
So it's Richard.
Richard? Yep.
At Sussex Chamber of Commerce.
Sussex.
Chamber of Commerce.
.co.uk. There you go, you're right.
Oh, great.
Chamber of Commerce emails, normally you're right, to be honest. Normally a Gmail or Hotmail or something like that is more than likely going to be on it. Anyone got a Hotmail? Anyone got a
I've got a Gmail.
Out the back of the room there, hold on. What's yours?
Tony Evans.
Tony Evans.
Double underscore.
Yeah.
Yeah, 58.
Yep.
At msn.com.
MSN. Oh.
I never use it.
Oh no. So yeah, anti-public combo list, whatever that is, an exploit. A huge list of email addresses and password pairs appeared in combo lists referred to exploit. The list contained 593 million unique email addresses. Don't hear about that one in the news, do you? What was yours, sir? Gmail?
Best
Oh, hold on. Best.
Jukeboxes, JUKEBOXES
Yep.
@gmail.com.
Oh. Exploit and Dropbox. So that's a scary one. It's a Dropbox where the files are kept and all that sort of stuff. Same sort of thing. So, lost the information in 2012, only told everyone about it in 2016, 4 years later. Bit of legislation that's coming out that I know Martin's going to touch on later on is going to make it so businesses like this have to tell us sooner. Because the implications of that are massive. Because how many people change their passwords? I mean, how many people for their social media have the same password? How many people have a password that's maybe, you've just added an extra naught on the end of it, or something like that, a few smiles. Simple stuff, but really easy to sort of work around. There is a website actually called hunter.io, and what this allows you to do is actually search the internet for Kogo.com. Kogo.com?
.co.uk.
Kogo. Right, is that going to let me type it? Kogo.co.uk. Now what this searches the internet for every time an instance of that email address appears. So we've got 8 times sales at Kogo, info, Martin, inquiries, help desk. And what it tells me is the format. So it's often the first person's name, followed by nothing else, at kogo.co.uk. What's interesting is that we can verify it. So for example, if we were to do my email at Barclays, lewis.hunt@barclays.co.uk, without even notifying me, this can check if my email address works or not. So, they've updated it. So, they finally fixed it. Barclays email addresses never used to do this. Invalid email address. They could have told me when they fix it. Pretty much. Another tool. This one's called Free Network Carrier Lookup Tool. Put in a mobile number, tells me who the network provider is. So now if I wanted to, potentially I could pass Vodafone security and potentially Martin because of the security information I have. So I could phone them up. Now they normally only ask for the first line of your address and date of birth. So I could then speak to them and do a thing called a SIM swap fraud. Now this is happening to a lot of CEOs and directors of businesses. The operator's being put under a bit of pressure. They're fraudsters saying things like, my SIM card's not working, you're ruining my business, I need to get up and running, I have another SIM card, can you transfer the number for me? And they'll transfer the number over for you. Things like Amazon, PayPal, eBay, they have the two-factor authentication security where they send a text message to your phone to change passwords. All that sort of stuff. Lloyd's Banking, send text message to the phone to authorise payments, so does Santander, Barclays don't. Loads of bits and pieces. So it's about making sure, how do you recover from that? They could start texting members of staff. They could start doing those sorts of things. Or they could scrap that and they could just go, I'm in a right kerfuffle with my accounts. I've got a few different accounts with Vodafone. Which one is this? What sort code and account number have you got the direct debit set up on? And when does that come out? How much was it for? Now potentially, then that's enough information to start questioning a financial institution's security. Or we can carry on looking. So another tool, again a simple website. You put in the name of the property, you put in the postcode. This is the one dishonest thing I did. They do have a level of security. You have to tick that box to confirm you're the bill payer. I did that. And it tells me it's npower with your meter number. So now I could call npower and go, yeah, meter number, reading it off the box, first line address, mother's name, postcode, whatever, and you're in. And then you can start asking for information about the direct debits. I could even start changing the tariff they're on, start causing disruption, whatever it might be. But it's very, very easy for criminals to be able to start doing this stuff just based off of phone calls. So I've got quite a bit of information there. Now, if I want to start pretending to be Martin, now everyone today accepted an email, potentially, to come to the event today. There was no virus or code on that email. But potentially, I can use a tool like MK's fake mailer. So I've just gone on Google, typed in fake email, and it's the first thing that comes up. I can type in Martin Bannister. I can do it from martin@kogo.co.uk, and I can send that to whoever I want, and that's how it will appear in their inbox. And I can write in HTML on the bottom, so it means that I can have all of the signature fonts, all the logos and everything I want at the bottom of it, and make it very, very believable. So I could send an invite out to everyone, because you're expecting an invite out to come from Kogo for a seminar, but it's got viruses within it, it's got dodgy links, it's trying to get you to do other things, maybe submit security information, all sorts of different bits and pieces, a questionnaire. You're not sending that questionnaire afterwards. But that's how simple criminals have to do it. Now this tool is one directional. So if a criminal was to send an email out on this, the victim can't reply. If they do reply, it either goes through to the real person's inbox, or it bounces off of a server and you actually see what the genuine email is, where it comes from. You get a load of jargon. So criminals will try and make this urgent or actionable there and then. So this is where they maybe target a new entrant in the business and say things like, really impressed with what you're doing, have a look at this and let me know what you think afterwards. Or make this payment, let me know when it's done. They're trying to get you to do things there and then and have a reaction afterwards. Or if they're trying to start dialogue, they'll go and buy a website similar to your website. So here, Kogo, wants to change it to logo every time, .co.uk. And this will show me what other versions of that website are available to purchase online. So I can buy kogo.uk.com, kogo.uk.net for not a lot of money, or I could put a typo in there. Now the chances are, that's probably taken, because it's still Kogo's quite a catchy name. But something like Sussex Chamber of Commerce, very easy to put a simple typo in there. Very easy to actually not worry about the URL bit on the end. Because your URL is so long,
Chambers instead.
yeah, put Chambers with an S. Very simple. Because it's so long, most email inboxes will truncate the end of the email. So it'll just go chain ... and it won't show the .co.uk bit. So a criminal probably wouldn't even need to worry. But that's where they go and purchase a website. And when you purchase a website, if you're not aware, as standard, you get the tool that allows you to create as many emails as you want. So I can just create Martin at koga.co.uk or do the .uk.com version of that. Or I can do a spoof phone call. So again, gone onto Google, typed in spoof phone call. This is the first tool that comes up. I will double check that I'm logged in. Quickly log in. You get credits to start you for free if there's any budding fraudsters in the room. But what it allows me to do, now Martin, have you got your phone on you?
Yeah.
Excellent. So Martin, you're going to remain the victim if you don't mind. I'm going to be the criminal. So what we do, first of all, we start off with my telephone number. I again put in the telephone number of the number that I want to appear on his phone. I put his number in. Now I could, if I wanted to, put Barclays telephone banking in. 08457 555 555. So I could call up Martin and go, hello, we're calling for Barclays debit card services. It comes up as Barclays. There's a payment on your card for £720 out to Thomas Cook. Was this you? Martin go, no, that's not me at all. I've made a payment. Are you okay to hold? And he put you through to fraud. Just about every organisation's hold music is on YouTube. All the fraudsters do is put the phone by the speaker and press play. There's an app you can download for $2.99 on the App Store called a DTMF decoder. Now what does that do, I hear you ask? And with a DTMF decoder, when someone dials on their keypad, it tells you what number they dialed. So all of a sudden the video will go, hello, you're through to Barclays. Please enter your 16-digit card number followed by the pound or hash sign. And you go, tells what numbers you pressed, because I've got an app that does that for $2.99 on the App Store. I've now got your card number. I now pick up the phone, put on a different voice or hand it over to my criminal friend and go, hello, you're through to fraud. You go, yeah, just got a phone call about £720. Yeah, is that the card ending in 4658? You go, oh yeah, that's the one, because it sounds really believable, even though I just punched it in. I can see that, I need to put a stop in it, I need to take it through security. What's your mother's maiden name? And that's a simple phishing phone call that a criminal will try and do to gather the information perhaps they couldn't find. Yeah, no problem, Martin, I'll put a stop in that card for you. It's okay to use in 10 minutes. No need to do anything else, it's all fixed. Anything else I can help you with today, sir? No problem. Okay, cool, bye. And that's what they do. But in this case, what we're going to do, have you got a telephone number of someone that's in your phone book, please? What is it? So we're going to call mine as Rob. Now I can change my voice to male. I can do text messages. See, it's funny, isn't it? I can do text messages. I can do sound effects. Now imagine getting a phone call from your partner, and in the background there is an ambulance. and it's a stranger calls you saying, I need you to come to QEQM hospital urgently, blah, 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 to get you out of the house. So a traditional crime can take place, burglary, something like that. Chances are we'd all probably do it because it's not worth the risk not doing it. But this is what criminals do. You can make it sound like an office in a call centre. I can record the call and listen to it later on. But we're going to place the call. It calls me first, and then you get an international dial tone. I've got reception. Yeah. And then it will connect to Martin's phone, but as Rob. Yeah. Do you want to answer it? Hello? So, in a room, just using a laptop and a phone, I can make phone calls as anybody else. Most people's telephone numbers can be found online, especially if you're in business, because you want people to be able to contact you and all that sort of stuff. So it's about just being aware of what the risks are and how that can be used against you. So going back to the presentation, because I digress, in a very short space of time, I can find name, date of birth, home email addresses, employer and job role, what you look like, interests and hobbies, recent activity and whereabouts. Now it might be that I'm not looking to pretend to be you. It might be that I'm trying to guess passwords. Now there are programs, Brutus to name one, where you can import all that information I found online, and Brutus will start trying to guess the most likely password that person will have, with incredible accuracy. So shame on you, in a second actually, it's the next slide. Yeah, not yet. I want to quickly show this video that actually highlights the problem that we have around passwords.
We've been hearing a lot about cybersecurity lately, largely...
Not yet.
We've been hearing a lot about cybersecurity lately, largely because of what happened to Sony. Companies and individuals are more concerned about the safety and privacy of their information than ever. President Obama has unveiled a number of new proposals this week to crack down on hackers, and he plans to address this in the State of the Union speech on Tuesday. And it's great that the government is working on this, but the truth of the matter is we need to do a better job of protecting ourselves. You know, the most popular password in the United States is password 123. And as long as that's the case, we're vulnerable. So today we sent a camera out on a Hollywood Boulevard to help people by asking them to tell us their password. And this is how that went.
We're talking about cybersecurity today and how safe people's passwords are. What is one of your online passwords currently?
It is my dog's name and the year I graduated from high school.
Oh, what kind of dog do you have?
I have a Chihuahua Papillon.
And what's its name?
Jameson.
Jameson. And where'd you go to school?
I went to school back in Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
What school?
Hempfield Area Senior High School.
Oh, when did you graduate?
In 2009.
Oh, great.
It's like my cat's name and then just like a random number.
Okay.
But,
Have you had this cat for a while?
yeah, she's my childhood pet.
Aw. And what's her name?
Her name is Jolie.
Jolie. So like a password of yours would be Jolie and then a number.
Yeah.
Like number 1?
Like my birthday,
Oh, when is your birthday?
June 12th,
Oh, nice. And what year were you born?
95.
Oh, great. So Jolie, 6/12, 95.
Yes.
Got it.
So you mean to give my password right now? No, I cannot do that.
But we all want to know what it is so we can tell you if it's strong or not.
Oh my goodness. Let me think. Okay, one is Tel Aviv. Yeah. 468, and then Israel. It's only 3, but it's for me it's strong enough.
Ireland 1 2 3 4.
Gemma 1 2 3. Spelled Gemma.
Well, most of them are Italian.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Like
so
what? Like what's a good Italian password?
My grandma's name.
What's your grandma's name?
Maria.
Maria. So Maria is your password?
Oh yeah, now you know my password. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, the important thing is
It does a great job highlighting the problem. Now, shame on anybody in the room if your password appears in the top 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3 4 5 7 8 9, password, Adobe 123, ABC 123, QWERTY 111 111, monkey, football, and dragon. So a lot of people are like, where does monkey and dragon come from? So this was taken in the Adobe hack. So when I was looking at the website, they had like 3,700,000,000 hacked emails. But when 150 million of those were taken when the Adobe got hacked, The criminal just copied and pasted that into Excel. Must have taken them ages to drag down the screen that many, but when they copied and pasted them in, Excel has the function that organises them. The first 500 passwords accounted for 70% of all the passwords, of the 153 million passwords. So it meant most people had the same password. Now what happens when you get software like Brutus, you're able to input that into Brutus, and Brutus is going to start guessing the password incredibly quickly. So with that in mind, how long do you think it will take Brutus on a 2015 computer with 4 gigabytes of RAM, bought for £299.99 from PC World, crack the password QWERTY? How long do you think it would take? Shout some numbers out at me, please. Couple of seconds? 8 seconds? Milliseconds? Any advances on milliseconds? If there are prizes, you win. So this is 7 milliseconds. It's quicker than a blink of an eye. That's how quick it can scroll through those combinations to get that. But how about 10 characters with a capital and a symbol? What are we thinking of this one? Seconds.
30 minutes.
30 minutes. 1 hour. We've been pleasantly surprised, it's 14 years. So the number of combinations grows exponentially when you start introducing other characters and adding length. However, the problem is passwords are old technology. Humans, us as people, we can't create and remember passwords good enough to defend ourselves against the computer. Which is a little bit of a scary thought, because that's only going to get dramatically worse. So this is why companies are looking at fingerprint recognition on your phone. Banks are looking at cash machines where you put your finger in, it looks at the veins inside your finger. Has to be a blood flow, so in case someone does that. Google was looking at retina scans, but the device was burning people's retinas, so they've gone to the drawing board. Android does the iris scan, so you have to look at your phone to unlock your phone. So lots of organisations are looking at other ways we can circumnavigate passwords, because when even that password, when it's confronted with perhaps an attack of 10,000 computers, it doesn't stand much of a chance. So 10,000 computers, DDoS attack. So what is it? An attack where multiple compromised systems, which are often infected with a Trojan, are used to target a single system, causing a denial of service attack. So this is what it looks like. So it might be that I've created the virus, I don't want to get caught, so when everybody's got the virus on their computer, I'm going to pinpoint one person's computer to launch the attack. So it might be Martin's computer. So Martin might send a follow-up email, say thank you for attending, please click this link or whatever it might be, to get you to install the virus on you or to get you to launch the attack. But what will happen, the criminal will actually work out what the payout's going to be of that attack. So they'll just put that step in as many times as they need to. So it'll be my computer controls Martin, Martin's computer controls Rob's controls someone out at Barclays, and it comes back and they launch the attack. So when the police investigate, it looks like somebody else did it. And then they go to that person's address, go, oh no, you didn't do it. They go to Rob's address, oh no, you didn't do it. And then they run out of money to investigate. So the police don't get out of bed unless a DDoS attack is worth over £1.3 million. The conviction rate for DDoS attacks, you're as likely to be arrested for stacking shelves at Tesco as you are for launching DDoS attacks. That's the reality of the problem right now. This is why criminals, in their hundreds of thousands, probably more, are moving from old school traditional crime to new crime, because the payout's much bigger and it's much less likely that they're going to get caught doing whatever they do. So there is a website where you can view some of this stuff. So we've got the Norse attack map. So Norse is an internet security provider, a bit like McAfee and Norton and all that sort of stuff. But they have 3 million server points around the world and actually share some of their data live. So whenever one of their servers picks up on a type of virus or a type of attack, they actually put it on this map. And you can see where it comes from and where it's going to. Looks like a little space war. It does look like, there we go, nice, that's good timing. So this is live now, DDoS attack. Large wave of one colour going from one location to another. A lot of stuff is hitting the Middle East to prevent ISIS propaganda and all that sort of stuff, all those videos shutting down Facebook accounts, but that will probably be going on, I don't know, most of the day, just hitting those big attacks. That's perfect timing. Normally I have to wait a couple of minutes, but good job I was looking, because that could have happened and I'll just sit there and wait and no one would have said that they spotted one. But you often see like Microsoft and Apple, they're just doing it to each other day in, day out, trying to get each other's intellectual property. But often, you know, we think it's country versus country, but it is business versus business. It's terrorist organisation versus CIA. It's this, it's that. It's young person with new skills. It's all sorts of different things just travelling across the globe. There's many different websites that actually do this. Kaspersky have got one, because Kaspersky you can actually see a little bit more because there's a lot more personal devices. So we actually show you when one is a web antivirus, so you've gone on a website and it flags up. You can actually see some of that stuff live. It's quite cool that we got a DDoS attack immediately. So there was 3.5 million DDoS attacks last year, so the chances are you're always gonna see one. Now the last crime I want to talk to you about before I go on to how can you protect yourself is man in the middle. So man in the middle is becoming more and more common because it's very easy for criminals to set up and do. Now what is it? It's quite simple. Old-fashioned man in the middle was when a criminal put themselves in the middle of the transaction. So they would perhaps make a fake cash machine in front and stick it on a real cash machine. You'd put your card in, it would go through their fake machine into the real machine. You would press your PIN number in, you would press the number on their fake device, push the real numbers underneath. You'd get your card and get cash back, but their device has got your magnetic strip and your PIN number, and they go and make a fake card. They put themselves in the middle of the transaction to steal your information. That was old school. New school, how many people have got Wi-Fi at home? Yeah, everyone should have. If you haven't, then welcome to the first world. What they do, well, here's a quick question. So, a lot of people put their Wi-Fi perhaps next to a window, on a windowsill. Well, criminals just first of all, you might be able to look through the window because your password's written on the back of it. How many people know how to change their Wi-Fi password at home? How many people have changed their Wi-Fi password at home? Not that many. So you can see why it's unnecessary risk. Just because, admittedly, companies don't make it really straightforward. It should be the first thing in the box, change your password when you set this up and change it every so often. If ever you've watched the imitation game around the Enigma code and Alan Turing during the war, fantastic film. But the theory applies to how criminals do this. They'll sit there just trying to guess the password to your admin for your router until eventually they get it. What's stopping a criminal pulling up outside your place of work during closing hours with a van running a decryption program to get the Wi-Fi password? How many people have Wi-Fi that they just share with their customers willy-nilly? How many people have, I don't know, probably you won't ever get, here they're pretty clued up because you've got a guest Wi-Fi and you've got the Wi-Fi that you can't access at reception. So they don't share that. That's the proper process. But how many places just have, Barclays 123 or name of business 123 as the password, got a few smiles in the room? It's that sort of stuff, unnecessary risk, because you don't know really who you're sharing that with, who you're, because it's like almost like an expected customer service now to have some Wi-Fi that you're going to offer your customers. If you do have Wi-Fi, it is very easy. You should contact your Wi-Fi supplier to set up a guest network. So a network that's separate to your business. You shouldn't have customers unnecessarily joining things to do with your core Wi-Fi. Because what the criminals do, they might use a bit of software called Wireshark. Once they've got access to it, or once that perhaps they've set up their own Wi-Fi, because mobile phones, I can go into Starbucks, I can set it up and call that Starbucks free Wi-Fi and people connect to my phone without really knowing. They can actually listen and see what conversations are happening. So as you send an email, text messages through iOS, any of that sort of stuff, anything that's not encrypted, they can view and look at, and in some instances they can even edit. So you have to be really aware of what sort of things you're doing, especially on public Wi-Fi, because there's no real sort of safeguards about what you're on. But with your own Wi-Fi, just make sure you're not at risk. Because often, I'll sometimes go out with customers and they'll be like, we don't know how they got this information. My first question will be, when's the last time we changed the Wi-Fi password? And they'll go, we haven't. I'll go, that's probably that way. It's not definite, but probably some necessary risk. So what sort of things can you do? So, like I said earlier on, become a member of CIS. Really easy thing to go and do. You've got the Barclays digital wings, which I'll show you in a second, and you've also got action, fraud, news and stats. So what are these? So the CIS you can find on the NCSC's website. NCSC. So on the ncsc.gov.uk, if it loads. Story of my life. As we scroll down, we're on the home page. Yes, we are. Services. You've got Cyber Essentials, which is actually a qualification your business, well, an accreditation your business can go and earn. The steps to do Cyber Essentials are completely free of charge. But once you want to get accredited, you do have to pay for an independent adjudicator, if you like, to come out and check your business. And then the CISP. So once you go onto the CISP, it gives you the steps about joining. You do need a sponsor, but like I said, if you want to join, just ping me an email, lewis.hunt@barclays.com, and I'll forward your details onto one of the sponsors. Very easy to join. Action Fraud website. This is where you go if you want to report any sort of crimes that's happening. If you're getting phishing emails, fraud attempts, any of that sort of stuff, tele-action fraud. They're trying to map out, you don't get a reply because they're so inundated, but they're trying to map out where the ringleaders are. It's helping sort of everyone as a society just to submit your information. But what is nice on here is under resources, they've got loads of stuff you can click on and use. So this one, for example, whole list of PDF documents and booklets and stuff you can download, put posters around your business, in the toilet, wherever, just to remind people of what things to do and not do. News and alerts, easy place just to get the latest updates on what sort of crimes are happening right now. And then you've got stats, so you can click on sort of your area, we'll click on my area, Kent, and you can kind of see what are the most reported types of online crime that are happening in that area. So computer software service fraud is really bad. So this is where people are calling up saying, hello, I'm from Microsoft, you have a problem with your system, can I log in? Those sorts of things. And then finally, Barclays Digital Wings. So this is a free City and Guilds qualification we offer anyone. So you don't have to be a Barclays customer, just go in, register, don't save your password like I've done, but the irony of that is unbelievable. So once you log in, there's loads of modules in here that you can use to upskill yourself, both on the basics of IT, but as well as cybersecurity. So let's go topics and modules. So staying safe online, we've got loads of modules where we partnered with major organisations like Cybertech. We've got loads of things about social media, teaching the basics, all sorts of different things you can go and do. And when you reach a certain amount of points, you get issued with a City and Guilds certificate. So it's quite an easy thing to do if you want to go and upskill yourself and give you the next steps. So without further ado, one more thing. This is what my team do. I keep forgetting about this, the whole point why I'm here. So my team actually offer businesses free cybersecurity webinars. So if you want training for your business, just around education, and we look after more of the people part, this is what mine pick up later, because as a bank we can't do the actual rescue and repeat kind of stuff, we can't do the hardware side of things, but we can do the education part. So if you're interested in having something bespoke for your business, please get in touch, and we offer that for free for all businesses. Without further ado, I'd like to pass you over to Martin. Thank you very much.
So you all know everything about me now, it's fantastic, and you'll never open an email for me, which is even better. Right. So I want to talk about the sort of next steps and what you guys can do to help protect your businesses. Obviously everything Lewis talked about, from secure Wi-Fi, protecting your company against USB sticks being brought in, we can help with all of that. We have products and services that can assist with all of that. I want everyone to start thinking about GDPR. Now this comes into effect next year in May. Currently at the moment, the maximum fine for a business is £500,000. Now there was a relatively small attack that Tesco's got done with, very, very small in comparison to LinkedIn and some of those others. If GDPR had been in effect for them, it would have cost them potentially £1.9 billion based on 48 billion turnover as a little business, which you might, it's a lot of money. I'm sure Tesco's would probably ride that out. But if you're a business which turns over £1 million, you're looking at 40,000 potential fine. If you're a business that's done nothing to protect the data assets you're holding at all, so antivirus, firewall, encrypting data, all that sort of stuff, then that would be perceived as neglect. You basically failed to protect that data. So your fines will be higher. If you've put steps in place to make sure you've got some layers of protection in there, then they would look at that as well, at least you've tried to protect yourself. As Lewis mentioned, and every security professional will say, there's no guarantee you cannot block it 100%. You're always going to be susceptible to that risk. But if you put some protection in place, for example, if you've got a secure Wi-Fi and a guest Wi-Fi, but someone managed to hack the secure Wi-Fi, you've done something, at least you've made some kind of movement to secure that. So again, really important. Also, with GDPR, if you don't report that 4 years later, you'll get a massive fine, or the maximum fine. You have to report the data breach. Now you may not even realise that some data's been taken. If you've had ransomware, for example, and your data's encrypted and restored from your backup, then you might think, great, we didn't pay them, we're good. But if that data then comes out in the open 4 years, 5 years, or even a few months later, like TalkTalks did, it wasn't TalkTalk that found out about data breach, it was someone reporting that, by the way guys, all your data's online. Big fines. So you have to report that. So it's really important that companies start looking at that, looking at their data they're storing, look at the risk, look at how they can protect their business and also that personal data. So, cybersecurity, as we said, it needs to be a priority for every business. We are going to be holding some cyber awareness workshops where we can collaborate, get companies in, collaborate, talk about cybersecurity, talk about the data they're storing, talk about what kind of security they've got, and really collaborate on getting people to think about the different things they can put into their business. So if you're interested in that, there's a card to register your interest, and we'll be pushing some dates out once we've got the numbers. Okay. I would say that every business is going to get hit with some kind of cyber attack, if you haven't already. I even had one of my employees many years ago that had a password 123 on his domain account, and that was back then. Criminals didn't use it for malicious. It was more like sending spammy emails out. That's all we got hit with. Was basically using it as that. But now, obviously, they're not interested in sending spammy emails out. They're interested in getting money. So it's really important. As I said, fines for businesses that get hit are going to be really high. You need to make sure you do something about it. Not everyone's an IT professional. Not everyone knows all the different places that they should be thinking about security. For example, the TalkTalk one was their website. I'm sure their corporate office firewall was completely up to scratch. The PCs had decent antivirus. They probably had a good backup regime for their servers, but they held the information on the website that wasn't secure. Now, the TalkTalk one, it would have taken about 25 minutes to apply the patch to secure that website. And a lot of these hacks, where the criminals manage to get you to click on a website, they're using a vulnerability in software where someone's identified there's a hole, but no one's patched it. No one's got the latest version of Java, the latest version of Adobe, in most cases. So again, understanding the vulnerabilities and how you can plan around protecting. Once you know what you've got to protect, you can then plan around that and an action plan. And the other thing we're keen to help companies with is this new Cyber Essentials certification. Yes, you can fill in the questionnaire yourself, but we're here to help you fill in that questionnaire and get you prepared to run that assessment. And we've also got partners we work with who can actually do the actual assessment for you. Once you've got that, you'll then be able to display that logo as almost like an ISO 9000 or some certification to say that you've passed that. There's 2 plus points here. One, you've gone through that checklist to make sure you're as secure as you can be. You can spend a lot more money on IT security and still get done. So it's all about finding out the sweet spot for you. But also on top of that, if you're doing tenders for some large companies, and I know a lot of my customers have been audited by the large companies they supply, you can say you've passed this. And it may well be that you might win a bit of business that the other company hadn't gone through this process and passed that Cyber Essentials. So we're keen to work with companies to help them get prepared for that. Okay, that's it. I want to thank everyone for coming. I hope that you found it interesting. Thank you for profiling me, Lewis. And again, just want to say thank you. Please fill in the questionnaire that's there. This is the second event we've done this year, and I'm keen to get your feedback on the venue, on the speakers, the content, the food, and so forth. Thanks very much.